A wonderful Monday afternoon to all of you. Yours truly, Denise Osorio here for PTV News Now. And we start off this afternoon's stories with the Department of Social Welfare and Development never at rest in its disaster response and contingency efforts all year round in all regions of the country. This time, the agency is ramping up its supply of relief items and financial contributions by its latest digital brainchild dubbed Operation Kaagapay, which once in operations or running can receive in-kind contributions and financial donations from the public or private business interests or NGOs. The website or portal will help hit the desired operational efficiency and link donations to DSWD affiliates and to LGUs in their humanitarian response when disaster and calamities strike. Operation Kaagapay's launching is slated for Tuesday, February 18 at the Mall of Asia in Pasay City as part of the agency's 74th founding anniversary. Words matter, and no less than former President Rodrigo Duterte is front and center and on the hot seat for running his mouth without the benefit of thought and discretion. This just in, CIDG Chief Police Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III has filed a complaint of sedition along with unlawful says against former President Rodrigo Duterte for his recent statements of suggesting to kill 15 sitting senators of the Republic, so his PDP Laban bets have a better chance in the May midterm polls to take their places. The former president has been known to be a loose cannon, letting our profanities and vows to kill people he feels are lawbreakers and a threat to his administration or leadership. Secretary Marco Rubio, in a 3-hour huddle with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the weekend, said Trump, Netanyahu, and he have agreed that Hamas needs to go and the Palestinians in Gaza have to relocate in either Egypt or Jordan, a proposition that will meet the stiffest resistance from the Arab world and the entire Middle East, as we hear more from VOA's Arash Arabasadi.
3 male hostages taken by Hamas returned to Israel after more than 15 months of captivity. The hostage release is part of a fragile ceasefire deal with Israel in which both parties agreed to lay down arms during hostage and prisoner swaps. Among those freed by Hamas was dual U.S.-Israeli national Sagi Dekochen. He reunited with his wife, who hid in a safe room with their 2 daughters during the October 7, 2023 attacks, in which Hamas took some 250 people hostage. The freed hostages arrived at a hospital as U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio began a regional tour of the Middle East.
Hamas cannot continue as a military or government force. And frankly, as long as it stands as a force that can govern, or as a force that can administer, or as a force that can threaten by use of violence, peace becomes impossible. They must be eliminated. It must be eradicated.
As hostages saw their families and received medical care, both Rubio and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke of unity against Iran's regional influence.
Today, Secretary Rubio and I had a very productive discussion with our staffs on a number of issues. None of them are more important than Iran. Israel and America stand shoulder to shoulder in countering the threat of Iran. We agreed that the Ayatollahs must not have nuclear weapons. And we also agreed that Iran's aggression in the region has to be rolled back.
As part of the hostage deal, Israel released 369 Palestinian prisoners and detainees. 36 were serving life sentences. Israel calls these people terrorists. Palestinians call them freedom fighters. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump continued his push last week for the United States to seize control of Gaza and develop it.
We're going to have it, and we're going to keep it, and we're going to make sure that there's going to be peace, and there's not going to be any problem, and nobody's going to question it. And we're going to run it very properly, and eventually we'll have economic development at a very large scale, maybe the largest scale on that site.
Israeli military offensives flattened much of Gaza since the war with Hamas began. Israel says it targets terrorists. Palestinians call the strikes indiscriminate. Trump says he'd like to see regional actors like Egypt and Jordan take in the roughly 2.3 million Palestinians displaced from fighting. This is something neither government seems inclined to do. Arash Arabasadi, VOA News.
So we've come to the end of the show. Join us anew later for the evening edition of our late breaking stories. And always keep it here for news you can count on, news you can trust. This is Denise Osorio, and thank you for watching PTV News Now.